Huge Heat Hour. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. You look a little bit different not on the phone, man. I like the background. I like the setup, man. You said you were in the basement, huh? The wife kicked you down there?
Yeah, I'm in the Dungeon of Doom right now, so
Nice,
it's
nice.
fine. I'm cleaning as I'm going, but I found myself a nice little cubby hole to hide into for a little bit.
I like those posters. I think I got one of those posters on a pro wrestling crate mystery box. I think so.
Yeah, I pulled them out of the All Elite crate. I mean, they
All
gotta
yeah,
go up somewhere. So
yes, yes. All elite crate. That's excellent. Yes. It's been a week or so. I know we were supposed to go live on after SummerSlam, but that was just it went so long,
yeah,
and I travel. You're traveling and stuff. It was just didn't work. I wasn't feeling good, but hey, we decided to do Thursday night huge heat hour. SummerSlam was the bomb. I have to say. I'm gonna go out
no
and say
complaints.
I'm gonna go saying that I could say this. I think SummerSlam in 3 hours was far better than WrestleMania in 2 days. So that's my opinion. That's my take on it. They hit every single thing that they had to hit, and they did it with amazing stuff. So, what's your take on all that?
Yeah, I I didn't have too much complaints with SummerSlam. Uh, uh, I mean, there wasn't really like a bad match. My only real gripe with it were each match had its own like interference or its own moment with it, which isn't a bad thing. But when you have in the first match Bailey, Io Sky, Dakota Kai making a return, come in after the match that Baylor, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair put on a whole lot of bees.
Yes.
um, that awesome match that they put on to have that, and then the next match have another run in, and then what it was AJ Styles with the Miz match, Miz and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett being the special guest referee. All in all, I enjoyed it. It was great. I mean, without that, but it's now a new era of WWE.
Right.
So it's a good time right now.
It is a great time right now for wrestling. It's actually absolutely a great time with wrestling in WWE. And I only had one issue with the SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw because I was hoping, it's just probably like everybody else was hoping. Please let's be done with Rey Mysterio, Dominic, and that group. Please let's be done. And I thought they were going to end it at SummerSlam. I thought somebody was going to turn heel on the father, either the father or the son. But no, Edge came in, saved the day, ran off after them, and that was it. And then Monday Night Raw, I'm like, okay, let's do this again. And then the Edge, the Rated R Superstar this time, not Edge from Brood, came in, and it was a wash again. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know where they can go, but with the Mysterios, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? What's your take on the Mysterios? Should this be just washed? What should we do?
It's a whole lot of now undoing what Vince did, but do it safely. So it's just not a restart button.
Right.
So like with that, as convoluted as it is, I mean, there's only so many ways you can go. Fingers crossed. I hope Ray just turns on Dom, and
Yes.
that it not be Dom joining Judgment Day. It's Dom kind of siding with them because now his dad's the bad guy, or just goes off and does whatever he wants on his own.
Right.
Hopefully, he turns on him and then like bring in Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, and have them do their thing, or send him down to NXT. Have him get some time down there. He would be a really awesome fit down there too.
Right. So yeah, it was. I loved it. Raw was good. They continued the Bailey and her group attacking people. Backstage stuff was good. Reminded me of NWO days a little bit. I like seeing that. I want to see that women's faction going really good. So that was good to see again. I just hope they continue it. So yeah. A lot of clean finishes. I mean, so I don't know. Raw was good. Raw was really good, I guess.
Yeah, I think the highlight of it all was Ciampa getting over.
That was huge. Yes.
Yeah, and then seeing Mustafa Ali actually on Raw, not on main event, in that 3-pack. So that was awesome. Mustafa, he's a Chicago native, and he's been doing work for years. So it's nice to actually see him not stuck in a weird storyline with the Miz trying to get back over. Now it's, hey, here's a shot, put your 15 minutes in, and then take an awesome bump from AJ Styles. We haven't seen a bump like that from him in a while.
Right. Yeah. No, but I've been watching Ciampa since he's in NXT, and I always thought he would be great on the Big Show, and
yeah,
that was pretty good to see him on the Big Show, and win that spot in that in that match. So that was good. Although I don't think he has a chance in hell against any like Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns or anything like that, but it is what it is.
Unfortunately, due to his size, he's going to be stuck in that mid-card role.
Yeah. So
unless if they brought back a light heavyweight title, for people like him, that would
right.
be great to see.
I loved the Seth Rollins and Street Prop or Montez Ford. I thought for sure when Montez Ford tossed his cup at his partner, I was like, oh crap, here we go. Here's the breakup everybody was talking about. And he put in a good match. He put in a good match with Seth Rollins, of course, and Seth did his stomp like he always does, and he was the winner. And I'm glad they're pushing him. He just needs to get rid of that goofy laughing gimmick that he has. It's old, it's over the top, it's out of this. I just don't like it anymore. So
that Jared Leto Joker style.
Yeah.
Overly flamboyant for it can go out the window.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say bring back the architect. They can just do something new altogether.
Right. We had Edge bowing to end Judgment Day. That was kind of weird to me because I even made a comment out to my brother. I was like, that's a crazy haircut that he had at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. And I liked the brood, the old school. I'm like, okay, I thought that was going to continue being that. And then he comes out as Rated R Superstar. He cut a great promo, don't get me wrong. The guy's great on the mic, so that was pretty cool. Then the Undisputed Tag Team Champions, the Uso beating the Mysterios. You knew that was going to happen. They're not going to take the belts off the Usos and give them the Mysterios. So that was it was okay. It was a solid Raw. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10, and I certainly wouldn't. I certainly wish they would have done something bigger the first night after SummerSlam, but it is what it is. So
yeah, it's definitely there's more eyes on it post SummerSlam because of the new era of Triple H and Stephanie and Nick Khan. No Vince.
Yeah.
Let's see what's happening now.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. And I think Triple H and Steph, they've done for the last 2 nights. I want to see what they do tomorrow with SmackDown, but they did wonderful with SummerSlam and Raw. So they're props to them. I was not impressed though. I watched NXT last night. I was like, I watched it yesterday because I missed on Tuesday. I was not impressed that much as I had been in the past with NXT.
Yeah, because they're building up to Heatwave right now, and besides like the JD McDonough, him pricking himself in the finger to show how tough he is to Braun Breaker. I mean, all the other matches are like it's a build up here, a build up there, like Joe Gacy with the grizzled young veterans. It's not like the dyad, so Schism or whatnot.
That boy's a creeper.
2.0. Yeah, it's now what Vince wanted, and now it's his baby, which is ironic because that was Triple H's. Right. So now we're getting that throwback to I guess the new generation. That early 90s kind of everybody has a gimmick for something.
Yeah. So, what was your thought? I've heard everybody talk about the Ric Flair last match, that it shouldn't have happened, that it was horrible, that he was slow, that it looked like he was on buffer mode, etc., etc. And my take is, dude's 77 years old. Nothing more should this have been than a bow to him, a curtain call if you must.
Yeah.
Okay, here I am. I'm doing this one last time. I love the fact that Undertaker, Bret Hart, Diamond Dallas Page, one other was there. You know, I love that they were there. But I don't know what people's bitch is about. It was his last match. It was something that it was to honor him. And, you know, yeah, he was slow. Yeah, the chops look weak. Yes, his finger pokes even looked weak. But, dude, 77 years old, man. I don't think I'm going to do that at 77 for sure.
Yeah, no, not. He did the best of his ability. Who knows if he was, like, drunk before the match or, like, had to get them nerves of steel. But, I mean, even still, the dude is almost 80 years old. And he's on borrowed time right now. You know, his bad back and all of that other stuff. It's like, for him to go through a tag match to at least say that he did it with his new son-in-law, and then to have Conrad Thompson get involved too, and to have these throwbacks of like brass knuckles and like his old big gold belt, you know, for him to walk out with all of that. It was nice to see. The match itself, I mean, yeah, it was what it was. I was more into it for the crowd because Jeff Jarrett took a solid 10 minutes to get that crowd worked up and was spitting and cussing, and they didn't blur anything out, which was awesome. Like, him and his wife Karen Jarrett were doing just so good heel work. Right. Even Jay Lethal trying to get into it, but you could tell he wasn't really that comfortable.
Right.
That made the match more than actually seeing Flair come in, do a little bit of do-si-doing, and then go on the outside, get busted open, come in, do his stuff. I think realistically, he maybe had 5 minutes worth of, you know, actual in-ring work.
Right.
Everything else was more pomp and circumstance, as it should have been. At least that made it something. But the whole card, top to bottom, until that match was solid. I think the only gripe I had with it was the Killer Cross Davey Boy Smith match, and maybe the one that had interference, Jacob Fatu versus Josh Alexander.
Okay.
But just other than those, like those two matches, they could have been a little better, but to see Killer Cross with hair and then to see Davey Boy Smith Jr. do work, that was nice to see. It makes you wonder what's going to happen in like MLW in the next few weeks.
So which one is the one that Diamond Dallas Page came in at? I seen where he came in and saved the day and did his classic.
That was the Josh Alexander one.
Okay.
So that versus Jacob Fatu, because Matt Cardona and not Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers came in and ran interference.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up watching DDP, and so he's one of my fan favorites. I love that guy. I met him actually at Pensacon 2-3 years ago. Special guy. Nothing bad to say about him. He was there with Booker T, so that was pretty cool. Those two gentlemen were just, they took the time to talk to the fans, and it was just epic, and it was kind of humbling actually to be in the presence of them. So when I watched him come in and interfere or save the day, actually save it, you know, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm glad that show gave homage to or honor to several superstars, and I kind of liked when Rush was giving Flair a hug up after the whole match. You know, the respect the talent gave Ric Flair was unreal. It's amazing, you know.
Yeah. So and a lot of those superstars too have generational lineage that tie back to Ric Flair too, which is even better. Especially to see like the Horsemen there. So like Brock Anderson and then Brian Pillman Jr. Or to see a lot of the Mexican talent. I mean, Ric Flair, I believe, worked Mexico for a little while too, so probably knows most of their fathers or their grandfathers. So it's awesome to see Davey Boy Smith Jr. there too. And so a lot of it was just based in homage, you know, for him. I mean, he didn't really need to take the bumps, but I was more upset that right at the end, you see Jay Lethal and you see Ric Flair, they just hug for a split second, and right before Jay Lethal cries, they cut it out. Why? I was more upset about that than anything else.
Yeah.
Because they could have just added 30 more seconds just to like really get those natural cheers and stuff. But
I think I botched.
Oh, sorry.
I think I botched his name. I think I said Lilo Rush. I meant Jay Lethal. When I said that he hugged Ric Flair on stage. My bad. Yeah. My bad.
No,
it's
a little height difference, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's 10:13 at night. So hey, I've been with kids since 5:30. So here's a question for you, man. Are you an old school wrestling guy? Do you like? Is there a certain brand that you like to watch? I'm interested. I just basically watch the three: the AEW, the WWE, and NJPW. Is there anything that you? Is there a special? Is there a brand that you like to watch, or do you just like to watch it all?
I try to watch as much as I can. Right now, the big thing is AEW because they're less than 5 years old. They're in their 30 year, so it's nice to see. But like this, I just threw up really quick. I still have to unbury a bunch of like signed stuff and WWE merch and stuff that I have. So this whole wall, I'm probably gonna end up scooting everything back to like really showcase that. But even Impact, like I still like watching Impact, every now and again just to keep up with that. I'm not super big into like death matches, so like CZW or XPW because they're back now, or GCW. I don't really care
You're not a Nick
for
Gage
it.
guy.
Not particularly.
Okay.
It has its own niche, which is cool. It's just not for me.
Okay.
It's like a whole lot of divas matches back in the day. Some people want to see bra and panties and getting thrown into a mud pit and stuff like that. It's not for me. I'd much rather see a 5 minute match. Everybody give each other brain busters. I'd much rather see flippy stuff. It's not my favorite, but I'd much rather see that over like it's pizza time and then murder somebody 37 times.
How many times have we had to see? Is it AEW put Jericho in a orange juice pit and that guy? I'm an AEW guy, but I was like, come on, do we have to see this again? But those kind of bra and panty matches, whatever, they don't do anything, but like you said, the brain busters, the high flyers, the hardcore matches with the barbed wire. I'm a big Mick Foley fan. I love the guy. I love it, love it, and extreme like that. But so Cactus Jack and all that stuff. But I'm just curious what you liked a lot of. Do you follow a lot of Lucho Libre stuff? Do you? I guess I. Okay, I'm asking these questions because I have a big question to ask you in a second.
Yeah, no, I try to follow Lucha Libre and like New Japan and things like that. It's just I don't. There's not enough time in the day to really sit down. Plus, have a personal life, a family life, and then have a work life. I'm blessed to have a night job that I can, for the most part, listen to what's going on and keep up with wrestling that way. But even still, like I was watching WrestleMania 15 because that's like one of the first WrestleManias I remember sitting down and watching. And even still, I had to pause it halfway through and like do work, and then came back and I'm like, oh, it's already time to go. No point in doing that. But then the next pay per view that I sat down was Starcade. Oh, I think early 90s. I want to say early or late 90s, just to kind of just see Hulk Hogan. Back then, see early Sting, Lex Luger, and things like that. Yeah. Just start getting into that again. Okay. But Lucha Libre, I'll watch a little AAA for every now and again.
Okay. So my question is, and no one's been able to ask. I asked the TikTok world about this, and they don't have any. They didn't answer that question, and so the question is, now I try to watch like the pay-per-views, the AEW pay-per-views, etc. And I was told I could watch it on watchprowrestling.org or something like that. And I do that, but it's always glitchy and stuff, and not running. But so is there a channel? Is there a subscription that people buy that give the best pay-per-view options?
It really depends. So if you have Xfinity, usually you can get Peacock included in your bundle.
Yep.
So that's really good for WWE and a lot of independents that they're working with. So Progress and Evolve and things like that, and then a lot of like over the top in Britain and things.
Okay.
Fight TV I know has a lot. They do a lot of the Ring of Honor. I think Ring of Honor, Impact, maybe AEW. I know Bleacher Report does AEW, but a lot of like little promotions. Twitch has a bunch of channels going all the time. Other than that,
there's a special lady. Good night, baby.
Hello.
Spicy says, "Hey." She's a
But
wonderful.
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat of like when I have the time to really sit down for it, but there's so many streams right now. You can scroll through TikTok and usually catch a pay-per-view,
Okay.
which has been nice.
Right. So yeah, so we got AEW on Wednesday night, and it was first thing was Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal. Of course, Jay won that match. I'm an Orange Cassidy fan. I'm glad my brother Matt Rogers 8 on TikTok. He used to rag on me all the time because I was an Orange Cassidy fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great gimmick. It's a stupid gimmick. I like the gimmick, but the boy can wrestle. I mean, and he's showed it the last few weeks. He's got some good. He's got great in ring.
Anybody doubts that, man, you just have to show him Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door.
Okay, yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. That was for sure fun to watch. That was amazing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter. What the hell were they doing wearing the Cody Rhodes colors? And I mean, I don't know. Was that a message to people? I don't know. Was I the only one that noticed it?
I don't know. I was more interested in Thunder Rosa's t-shirt, sandbagging since 2014.
Okay, yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, yep, nope, never mind. The colors and like Reba's attire and like everything else was cool to see, but I'm like, I want that shirt.
Yeah.
Like, if not just to have it.
Yeah, the shirt I want is bum ass Corbin's. I want that shirt. I gotta get that shirt. I got it. That guy's a total ass. I can't. Yeah. He's great. He's great in the ring. My brother and I were talking about that. He's one of them. And I put Sami Zayn in this, and I'm sorry we're getting off the track of AEW, but Sami Zayn in the same boat. Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin. They are true WWE people. Baron Corbin, he will do anything he has to do for WWE. I mean, look at the gimmicks that boy's been through. Mm-hmm. Happy Corbin, broke ass Corbin, King Corbin. He just adapts to what they need done, and to me, that's loyal. So he's loyal to WWE, to Triple H, to Steph. I like to see that. The guy, I don't like him. I don't like anything he does. I think I got to see him live at Pensacola, Road to WrestleMania. He's Baron Corbin, and but he's just a company guy, and I think that's great. I think they need something like that. Keep on going. So, but yeah, then we had Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ren Jones. That guy's a massive man. Powerhouse.
I'm glad that they're building him up now. Now that Team Taz is no more, according to Taz.
Yes. Whilst
on commentary, they can't get along. Fine. Will Hobbs running roughshod through Mr. Jones, and then, man, drawing a blank. Ricky Starks.
Yes.
Coming in hot to fight him off.
Yep.
Like, Will Hobbs looks so good right now. Now, only if Mark Henry will get out of commentary and start managing, he will be fantastic for Will Hobbs.
Yes.
Have two of the world's strongest men there. That'd be great. You couldn't do any better than that.
Yes. My brother asked me, talking about management and, Mark Henry coming out, and one of my favorite wrestlers in the past was Jake the Snake Roberts, and I loved when he was doing Lance Archer.
Yeah.
I loved it. I know I think Jake got sick, if I'm correct. He was ill or something like that, and he was off TV. But what's the news on Lance Archer? Do you know where he's at? It's almost like
he's been doing New Japan stuff.
Okay. All right.
With New Japan Strong, which is another good series, especially if you don't have time to watch a lot of like actual New Japan.
Okay.
New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong is out of LA, and they do a lot of really good stuff. They're usually shorter shows. I believe they're only an hour, but he's doing stuff with that. He just did, I think, the G1 Climax. I think he's still doing that. If not, he was in there.
Okay.
And Will Ospreay just made a mention of him. He's like, "Hey, get this guy the fuck out of here. He's too big." Like, if that doesn't show, like, the dude's massive. He's 6'7", 300 pounds. Like, Jake the Snake is almost as tall, and it's still like, since he's not doing anything in AEW, he's over in New Japan. If he wasn't
Okay.
over in New Japan, I'm sure he would be doing stuff in Ring of Honor. But
Right.
I mean, he's so versatile and he can go wherever he wants.
Right.
He's always gonna be wanted by everybody.
Is Jake with him?
I don't believe so. I
Okay.
think Jake had like respiratory issues. I
Yeah.
know he's like battled COVID and then had cancer for a bit and all this other stuff. So I
Okay.
don't think he's really doing too much anything.
Okay, gotcha. Then we had that dumpster match with the Acclaim versus the Gun Club.
I'm for it. Absolutely for it.
You're for it?
It needed to happen. I'm sure there's gonna be more things to go, but that was a way better dumpster match than. Oh man, I don't remember the last one. There's better high spots in that versus whatever the Young Bucks did when they hurt themselves. I think Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
So like that was a pretty good one. Good today. I'd take that over that orange punch, whatever the thing.
Yeah. No, it was good. I mean, it was good for it. I like the Acclaim. They're excellent on the mic. They're funny as heck.
Mm-hmm.
So they're good. Great in ring, and you know they make the mark. You know, and of course the Gun Club. They're trying to climb up their daddy's past or whatever, and I mean they're just not as good as their dad is, in my opinion. But we'll see.
Yeah. What they need to do, hopefully, is either get like Brian Pillman or Brock Anderson and just have a bunch of second generation people.
Yeah.
That would be nice to see. And
Yeah.
then have everybody help each other and have that tutelage.
That would be cool. That would be.
Yeah. Then you can do a fucking trios title with
Right.
them and have a round robin style or do whatever you want.
There's a lot of third gens in AEW that I've noticed that you know the Guns. There's a lot. I mean, I didn't realize that. Why I didn't realize this. Hook. Now his dad is.
Yes.
I just didn't put that together. My brother was talking about that. I was like, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because he looks like his mom.
Yeah.
He looks nothing like his dad.
Right. That makes sense. Well, I would have known that. You know, and Vanhausen. You gotta like him. I mean, my brother was a hater again of Vanhausen, and now he's like hooked on him. You know, and stuff like that. I'm like, whatever, dude. So that was good. Then we had Chris Jericho versus Wheeler Yuta. That was great. I love
it was a solid match for sure.
I love the fact that Mox and him are going to go at it, you know. And if they take the belt off of Mox, they can't put CM Punk and Jericho in a match. I would not like that. I want to see Moxley and CM Punk in that big match. I think everybody else wants to see that too. I don't know. Is that what you want, or would you rather have Chris Jericho?
I would much rather see that because I don't think they did a whole lot. Because while CM Punk was in the WWE, that's when the Shield was pretty much there, but it was still pretty early. I don't know if they ever really had a singles match with each other. If they did, it was probably a burn-off, and I know there were tag matches, but I don't think they ever truly got singles matches with each other. But versus, you know, Chris Jericho 10 years ago versus Punk 10 years ago, it's going to be pretty much the same. I wouldn't want to see it. I'm not a big fan of Chris Jericho anyway.
Right, never mind. No.
The man he should have retired or at least went down to a part-time capacity as soon as he was done with New Japan. Coming into AEW, awesome. Helping elevate it, being their first champion, cool. But like the whole Jericho Appreciation Society, and whatever he did, the Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle.
The Pinnacle.
The Inner Circle, all that stuff. Yeah. The only thing going good for him with those two things is his entrance song.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I like that song.
Yeah, he'll never get rid of it. I wish he would, just because it would have been way better if he used a different song for the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah.
Just to really play up that, like, oh no, we're sports entertainers, and get a really generic song
Right.
for it. And then whenever it disbands, then bring it back. Then you can have that whole face turn
Absolutely.
that he'll eventually have.
Absolutely. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Matt and Nick Jackson. Did you see that coming?
I'm glad it happened, but no. I thought it was gonna be this hoorah or Kenny Omega coming in to like do whatever Kenny Omega does. But no, I'm glad that Adam Cole fired the first shots.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that happened.
And I liked when Hangman came out, and you knew you haven't seen him around in a while, so you knew he was gonna. So that was good to see him come out, and but I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know, because if he's gonna go with Mick and Matt, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, do you see those three going 3-on-3, that feud happening?
Yeah, if Kenny doesn't come back, Hangman, because at least they have that history with not only Bullet Club but the Elite too. That would be great, and they're teasing it. It's just the question's going to be, what are they going to do with the Dark Order? Anna Jay's not in it, so it's now 6 of them. Colt Cabana's in Ring of Honor, so he's not coming back.
Right.
If they do bring him back, it's just to kind of fill in. So you have Evil Uno, 10, Alex Silver, and John Reynolds, or John Silver, Alex Reynolds. So you have those 4. So I guess you can do a trio off of that, and then whenever -1 turns 18, sure, now you got 5 of them.
Yeah. Number 10, I know him. He's from Clare County. We're up in Michigan. He used to live in Clare County. So I don't know him personally, but yeah. So my brother, I'm gonna insert a question from my brother. Did a TikTok video on the coattails of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish turning on the brothers there, the Young Bucks. His question is, who do you think was the best heel turn of all wrestling?
I think for the time probably had to be either the double cross with Bret and Austin, or the double cross with Austin and Rock.
Okay.
So I think that WrestleMania 17 one was probably a little better, but to see Bret turn heel and do all of that back in the mid 90s was also kind of cool to see. Steve Austin not tap out,
right,
and do all of that.
So,
new era, now modern, as we're going, I think probably Tommaso Ciampa on Johnny Gargano. What was that, NXT Chicago, when they lost against the Authors of Pain?
okay.
We threw him into the Titantron and then gave him whatever, that Willow's Bell or whatever, off the stage into the table. I think that was probably recent memory, one of the best ones that's happened.
Okay. Mine is, of course, I'm a Hogan guy. I know, as you can see in the background, that NWO. I love that heel turn. It was the most unexpected heel turn, in my opinion. And I think it saved that era of wrestling. It revived it. I think that's 100% what happened. And forever that will go down as you're gonna always see NWO shirts everywhere. It's just gonna be a thing. And I think that's So I mean, a couple of these I was reading through these. Shawn Michaels, for obvious reasons, but Jeff Hardy in TNA when he turned. Michaels and Jannetty, that was a classic when I was growing up, when Michaels super kicked him through the window of the barbershop or whatever that was, if I remember that right. Eddie Guerrero in 2005. The DIY breakup. Another one that was huge is Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. That was that was epic. So yeah, but we're talking about the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, and so that brought me to this question. I remembered I answered it today, and he wanted to know who we thought the most popular heel turn was. So I thought I'd ask that, and so what's the future? What do you think's gonna happen at SmackDown? Is there anything big you think? Do you think Triple H will like blow us out of the water in SmackDown?
I hope they just keep using staff that they haven't used and just keep pushing them. Okay. Like to the whole Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser storyline, like that's gonna keep going because that's kind of their staple. But like Roman Reigns may or may not be there, and then you're gonna have the Bloodline do the Bloodline stuff.
Right.
But I'm more interested to see what they do with like the maximum male models to see if it's going to be just straight a comedy gimmick or are they going to have enhancement talent and then do what they did with like Billy and Chuck or I don't know, get more Jinder Mahal in there.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if he's on Raw or SmackDown, but when he was on SmackDown as the WWE champ, that was cool to see. So hopefully they do more stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I've actually sat down and watched a SmackDown because usually while I'm at work I'm busy until about Rampage or I catch like the last half hour of Rampage.
Well, Rampage is gonna be huge for TikTok people, man. First of all, the card's not that bad at all. I mean, you got Moxley putting it up against the guy from Japan. Is it? No. He's going against
Vance Warner from
Vance Warner. Yeah, that's gonna be big. My brother's
he does a lot of great stuff in MLW.
So we got Matt's gonna be there with Andrew, of course, from Matt Rogers 8. He's gonna have his son there. They're gonna do a question of the day, and I got to be quiet because he's meeting somebody there. You're gonna obviously who probably. And he's going to do a question of the day with a special guest, he says. So
nice.
He's excited for Battle of the Belts. That Rampage card and Battle of the Belts looks amazing. Mm-hmm. So on and so forth. So, yeah. Anything else?
I thought about going to Battle of the Belts, but I looked at my schedule and I got way too many people. So I got too many people to help, so I gotta not call off and go to work, but it's gonna be so nice. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, I'll be watching that for sure. I mean, I gotta try to pick my brother out. He's at second level on the left side of the ring, straight from the right. So we'll have to see. Hope they show him. But anything hot topics you want to throw out there for Heat?
Everything's been solid. I don't care. I mean, besides TikTok and that whole community, I mean, everybody's still arguing with each other. I took this TikToker. Her and I kind of went to with another one. So just because there's a whole lot of mansplaining that goes on in the TikTok community when it comes to other creators. So really, other than that, wrestling wise, it's been solid. There's not a whole lot besides how many more allegations are going to come forward with Vince McMahon, which, to be honest, the man should have got out of that position 10 years ago. Like, with everything that he's done with the Divas division, like, oh, hey, your two girls that had titles left, let's trash them on TV. And
right.
Let's kind of slowly forget about the women's tag titles, even though it's very important. Or
right.
Let's not do another Evolution pay-per-view. Why is that not a thing? But now, since it's a new era, hopefully we get more women's content, especially with Stephanie McMahon being co-CEO.
Right. Absolutely. I'm going to probably a local event here on August 13th. XIW, Extreme Impact Wrestling here in Panhandle of Florida. So I'm excited about that. They're an indie group. If you look up Adrian Whisper is his ring name. He, I think, was back in ECW for a stint. So he's the promoter of that, and he's bringing in Chase Stevens. So I might get a chance to meet him. His son Jackson Slade holds the XIW belt, And of course, the angle is Dad wants the belt, but Dad tried 2 times to get the belt, to win the belt, by cheating and by bringing outside sources in, and both times he's failed. And so I think his secret surprise guest is going to be Chase Stevens. So it's a good angle. I'm going to go to that. I might have some footage up on that, on stuff like that. I agree with you on the TikTok thing. My brother was in one of the chats with Wrecked by Wrestling Group.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that was just ripping, and he was just like bashing. And then Rex like, dude, they're trying to, and I love it. I love my brother. He's so funny because he got called up, but he got messaged by Wrecked and wanted Matt and Andrew, of course, to be the tag team of their wrecking crew.
Nice.
So he did a promo, and he's like, man, he goes, Scott, he goes, are you upset about that? I said, no, man, we're a huge pop wrestling podcast. I don't care. I said, what I see happening 6 months down the road is, because we're forming a group of our own, there'll be a heel turn on Wrecked by Wrestling, and we'll come in with Spicy, me, you, Brandon, another guy. We're gonna take over. And he's like, yeah, that could work. So I like that part. I like the battles, But there's a lot of people on there that are just I don't know why they need to. It's not a competition. I love what Panda's doing with his people, with his Twitch channel. Mm-hmm. Heel Kevin used to be a creator on here. He's doing a Twitch thing. We're all doing podcasts. That's what this is about, having fun wrestling. I'm not competing with nobody. That's why that's what I like about you, bro, because you're genuine. You're like, I'm just having fun. It's another avenue to talk wrestling, and I'm like, that's great. Because I watched another group on Twitch, and I was struggling because my views were low. Our views were low, and and he says, you know what? The reason why we have our podcast is because we all worked at the same factory together, and once they got COVID, we had to stop as a group in the lunchroom. So we worked from home. So we developed the Twitch channel. We all came on to talk wrestling, and I'm like, you know what? That's all I do. That's why I like to do it. I love wrestling. I love meeting people like you to talk wrestling with. You share your knowledge, I share mine, and it's a great time. So that's what, I'm glad you're a part of Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. I'm excited about that, and I thank you for being humble and genuine. So
yeah, no, it's no problem. And like I said, the term spicy guac, that little thing is there just because I, pardon my language, give zero fucks. I have no problem just going back and forth with somebody until they either quit or until I'm just like, all right, I'm bored with this. I have no problem trolling somebody until they're at their wit's end. Yeah. And at that point, it's like, it's fun to me just because there's so much people that are out there that's like, oh, hey, you still watch wrestling? You know it's fake, right? Yeah, I understand that. But I've taken bumps in the ring. I like it, but it also hurts. It hurts very much. Like, hey, there's people that you can clearly see that have died in the middle of the ring doing absolutely fuck all. Just like, hey, I just tripped and oh, there goes my neck. Like, it's so dangerous, but it ain't ballet. And then to see dudes that are, barely lifting a finger at work, mainly typing on a keyboard, that's like, oh yeah, this person isn't good. In your opinion? Nah, man, I'm not gonna listen to it because I'm better than you. Like, right. Okay, cool. Well, I got time today, so let me point everything out that you're wrong about. And I got 6.5 hours to do it, so yeah, I'm gonna get comfortable. And after that, I get blocked. Like, unless if you're Ryback, because if you don't get blocked by Ryback, then we have to ask what you're doing wrong. Right. You could literally sneeze towards Ryback and he'll just block you. Really? He usually pre-blocks people too. He just goes through a whole list and it's like, oh, you're friends with like Panda? Block.
Ryback? Sorry. The wrestler Ryback?
Yeah. So he
is he on TikTok?
Yeah, he's on TikTok.
Let me see.
If you found him, he probably blocked you already.
Let me see. Ryback. All right.
Yeah, it's like Real Ryback 22 or whatever.
Real Ryback? If I type in Ryback, will it come up?
Probably. So I got blocked by him because Panda got blocked by him. He got called out.
RYB.
Panda called Ryback, so RYBACK.
BACK. Ryback. Here we go. All right, here we go. I want to follow him. It's the big guy back. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so with him and Panda kind of got into it because Panda did a video about, what's something the whole WrestleTok community can agree on. It's like, oh, Ryback's a fucking potato, and just trashed him for like the 60-second video that it was there. Okay, cool. Ryback stitches it and is like, oh, of course, big talk from, whoever. It's like, okay, well, let's set up an interview. You want an interview? Let's set it up. Let's talk. Blocked. Oh, okay. Here I am. Hoity toity. Hey, why'd you block Panda? Blocked. Anybody who went on that video? Blocked. So it was like 30 of us, all in like a span of like 2 minutes. I was like, oh, I got blocked by Ryback. That's cool. And then anybody else like trickling down because he made another video about him having like big dick back pain or something. And then more people trashing him too, to the point where it's like, the dude has time because he's not wrestling. He's not doing anything. I don't think his supplements are selling. So he's just kind of probably somewhere in Florida or Texas or wherever he's hiding, just fucking having time to do nothing. Eat cheeseburgers, I think. I think that's what he's doing on his YouTube.
Nice.
But there's also another creator that was doing that stuff too that like blocked Panda. And I'm like, oh, I got time. Hey man, why'd you block Panda? He's like, because I don't like his opinions. Anything else? Like, oh, okay. So then Panda makes a fucking video of that too, and then it's a whole thing because, Panda has people looking out for him. Like, he just commented the video.
Right.
I just so happened to see the comment because somebody sent me a screenshot of it. But like, there's that part of the WrestleTok community that has, hundreds of thousands of views and has, a following on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that are bigger than everybody else. But
well, there's
people also forget we're all fucking human.
That's right.
We all bleed the same.
There's a guy on. I won't say his name. I'm sure you'll know. He's huge on Twitch. He's huge on TikTok. Starts with heel. That's not Kevin. How about that? That's good. And I guess there was a big thing, a big to do about what happened in his personal life, blah 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 blah. And he whatever it was, I'd stay out of it. I stayed out of it, but interesting enough, he must be liked by a whole bunch of people because every night on Twitch, he is 450 plus watching. He's like second on the list of content creators on Twitch for wrestling, and I'm like, he didn't lose any followers in that for sure. So, but yeah, it's just the wrestling community itself. Sometimes on TikTok get like nasty towards each other, but I just stay down there as a low person on the pole and share my.
Oh, I have no problem. Like, I was telling the missus the other day, I'm like, this whole TikTok thing is awesome, but like, if my account got banned, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna happen eventually because somebody's gonna take offense to something that I say, and it's gonna 9 times out of 10 be something that like, oh, you had a fucking comment. Like, it's never oh well, I don't like the color of your hair, so die. I'm not gonna say stuff like that. Everybody's human, but it's like, if you're picking on somebody who clearly is just having a good time, it's like, hey dude, don't be a dick. Like,
right.
Mama didn't raise no fool, and I don't care. I have the time. I will go drive 6.5 hours to come see your ass. You want to talk about it? Come on, let's go.
Right. On the wrestling news, I should have wrote it down, but somebody this week was saying that AEW reminds them a lot of the WCW when Shane was there, etc. Did you see AEW being around long? Or do you think AEW will be a WCW type thing that it's gone because they just ran out of money?
They're in year 3, and they have so much money, it doesn't matter. The cons themselves are billionaires.
Yeah.
Like, they have so much money, the Chicago Bears are going to leave Chicago, go to Arlington Heights, which is a suburb, and then the cons are talking about relocating the Jacksonville Jaguars to Chicago.
What?
Because, fuck it. Tony lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
He has space and time in Chicago. Of course he'd want to move that fucking team over. And then they have soccer teams or football teams in other countries, they have so many investments in
Okay.
sports, and then wrestling. It's like, hey, I just bought Ring of Honor for what, 2 million or 20 million or whatever. That's such a small percentile to that man that it's probably a tax write off.
Okay.
So even if he somehow burnt through $1 billion, I don't think it would really matter because they'd still probably have a surplus or declare bankruptcy on some sports team and make it up.
Okay.
I hope it goes for another 20 or 30 years. If TNA can do it, if Impact can stay around for 20 years, I think they'll have a good time. They just celebrated that Slammiversary, which really wasn't a bad card either.
Okay.
I was all for that reverse battle royal. It was weird to see because I mean it's something different, but to see like Sin Bodhi come back with the Sinister Minister, to see David Young, who had the best losing streak. He was like 0 and 200 something. He was the master of the spine buster.
So if
like a lot of old.
So if Sin Bodhi comes, because we're trying to set up a date, do you want me to try to make it for the nighttime so you can join, or?
Don't worry about me because I have such a terrible schedule of
Okay.
nights and then a young child that I will catch it. I don't want to take up that man's time because he's scary still. Man's been doing it for like 20 years, so I don't need him to put a hex on there.
Dude, man, I'm nervous as hell because I don't want to be by myself. So you have to shoot me some questions you want me to ask them, so I can. So we have the conversation goes. But yeah, I just was curious because I enjoy AEW, and I don't want it to just fall off because they ran out of money or stuff like that. So. I did have a question. What's your opinion on because my brother asked this too. Who should be the next one to have their last match?
Well, we know Booker T's out of the question. He's still doing Reality of Wrestling, and he's already said hell no. That's good. I would like to see Arn and Tully again.
Okay.
Because they had that small tease in AEW. I would like to see something with almost the Four Horsemen. Same thing like they did with Rick, have a tag match with younger people. So to see Brock and Arn and then either Pillman and Tully or fucking his daughter. So have Tessa Blanchard and Tully Blanchard. Have her come back to America, do a match, because she can out-wrestle any dude anyway. Versus 4 people of their choosing. That would be cool to have a send-off that way. I mean, other than that, I wish Dean Malenko would have one last match, but for medical reasons, he can't. Hopefully we're not talking about Big E anytime soon, because that last match he had was terrible. But I would like to see at least that. There's not too many other people. Unless if you count the Brothers of Destruction versus like DX, I guess give Sean a proper send off, but that was all just for money. But to have him versus Johnny Gargano or whatever student he had, Bryan Danielson, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, I think I'd want to see only because he's my favorite wrestler. I'd like to see maybe Sting get a proper send off. I think he needs to get one last match before he ruins himself in the AEW. I popped big time when he came with Darby Allin, but I think it's gone long enough. I don't know. I anticipate every week that there'd be a breakup between those two. Like Darby's gonna get sick of it or whatever, and I think before because Sting's not getting any younger, and the way he's moving isn't. You could tell he's not as agile as he used to be, and it's just before he gets hurt again, I'd like to see him get the proper send off. You know what I'm saying? Because they were going to do that. I believe they were going to do that when Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Wasn't it WrestleMania?
No, it was like Night of Champions.
Night of Champions, yeah. And when and that was going to be a great match until you could obviously see Sting got hurt. So
yeah,
but I think I'd like to see Sting. Sting.
Yeah, I'd like to see Sting have a single, like one last single.
Yes, yeah.
Like a farewell run, because him and TNA doing the Joker gimmick.
Yeah.
I mean, it was refreshing to see because like that was still that Hogan era that was there. But
Yeah.
have him bring that or something similar to AEW to kind of break up that like macabre that's there with the House of Black with Darby Allin with himself. To say, okay, cool, let's bring back Surfer Sting for a little bit.
Right.
Hey, let me just have one run and then just kind of play off of everybody.
Right.
What Chris Jericho's doing now.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho's literally building all of this up just so he can have one final goodbye and go, okay, cool. Never gonna step foot in this fucking place again once his contract expires. Great, fantastic. Because the less fucking Jericho I have to see, the better.
Right.
But other than that, like he can do the same thing, and Sting would do it 1,000 times better.
Right. My question I asked a couple days ago, no one really I thought it'd get a lot of response, so I'm going to have you answer the question. Was the Montreal screw job best for business?
See, you said it, and there's a lot of young people and a lot of people that don't really know the product, so they're probably like, Montreal, what job?
Yeah.
And then they did the second one too, so they probably didn't know. I think it was a work. I mean, because immediately after you had the A&E documentaries and stuff like that, nobody really talks about it. But for the time, you couldn't tell. Like, there's no way that it wasn't real. You know? Especially looking at it now, where it's like, oh, it's a fast count. You know, ring the bell, get Sean out of here. Cool, and then have Brett, run a tirade, and then that's when they really showed, oh, hey, Vince is actually the person who runs it, and then it really started helping with the Attitude Era. I think it was all a nice little ruse, but I do also think that Sean and Brett systematically hated each other.
Right.
Like, there's no way that nobody fucking liked Sean at that time.
Right. Talking about hating each other, is there any wrestlers that that have a beef literally outside the ring and they just have to work it in the ring with each other? Is there any major, you think those guys have major beefs with each other? You think they're all cool with each other?
The two that come to mind are Miz and Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, and then CM Punk and Colt Cabana. But like the CM Punk and Colt Cabana thing is because of legal reasons.
Okay.
How they helped each other with the Art of Wrestling podcast over CM Punk's time in WWE. Then that lawsuit happened. Then they could talk about it, and then Punk didn't cover Cabana's lawsuit, but they settled out. But they didn't really talk, and then Cabana kind of went silent on AEW, so you can tell there's still animosity there. But with Bryan Danielson and The Miz, it was just recently reported he did an interview and was pretty much talking about it like, as a person, they don't get along. Like, it's oil and vinegar to them. Like, fucking dude's an asshole. But he respects his in-ring work. So it was kind of art imitating life, especially when it came down to that Talking Smack segment where they're trying to really get under each other's skin, but they also really didn't like each other. So I could see that. I don't know if you know of anybody else.
No.
Those are the two people that I think of, besides anybody in Hogan. I don't think anybody likes Hogan. I think Sheik is still cursing out Hogan right now.
Probably is. Man, that guy, I get him so amazed. I mean, I look at Hogan on his Facebook page, and he's broadcasting his bar in Tampa, and how he has Monday night karaoke night, and he gives away a belt, blah blah blah. To get into that door, you have to pay $50 to get into the door. Then you got to buy your drinks so you can be in the building with Hogan, and that just blows me away. I go to cons, and I look at all the other cons that people go to, and the people they meet, and how like most of them are $50 and $60. Well, to meet him and get something signed by him, it's like $200.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap! And then I Facebook messaged a wrestler tag team El Libre, they wore cowboy boots. Dang it. Rene Dupree. No, Rene. Oh, anyways, he comes back and says that I need $150 for a half an hour. $200 for a whole hour. I'm like, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to make people rich. But he also did say, he has a life, he has a family, this is his business, right? And I respect that, but it amazes me, I guess, how much it costs to meet these wrestlers that we grew up with.
Yeah. And it kind of goes to the saying, like, never meet your heroes, because 9 times out of 10 you get disappointed. Some of it's true. I didn't get disappointed with Rey Mysterio. Seeing him when I was 15 years or something, to be eye level with him at that time, I'm like shook with fear. I couldn't like talk, but other than that, I couldn't imagine trying to have a podcast with him or like get him in for like a small interview.
Right.
I'm sure it would be upwards of $1,000 to hear him talk.
Yeah.
It would be worth it.
Right.
To get like 15 minutes with him and pay $400 would be like, But
right.
I couldn't see it. I can see how people make a living, especially with all these autograph signings and stuff. But other than that,
who's the
next comedy?
Who's the biggest one? Who's the biggest star you met?
Probably Mick Foley by far.
Yeah.
So he's nice. I went to one of his comedy specials, and then Kevin Nash is, I believe, coming out here relatively soon. So I've been on the hunt for a Kevin Nash figure to see if I can get him to sign one before that man kicks the bucket.
Kevin Nash.
Squad.
Let me check. I might have a extra Funko Pop back there.
Ooh.
That I might be able to.
You need it signed. You send it to me. I'll send it back to you.
No, I'll have to check. I'll check around, man. So, hey, man, it's 11 o'clock. I hope you don't ever get bored with huge heat hours. So I hope you don't get.